Over the last 20 years, I've read almost every book on social dynamics, charisma, social skills, and all of them basically give you the same BS advice about just put yourself out there, fake it till you make it, just be yourself. Yet, well, none of that works because I tried it and it kept me stuck in my social anxiety for years. In this video, I'm going to show you the counterintuitive approach that makes you instantly more magnetic and charismatic without even trying. After 28 years in the trenches with social anxiety, working on myself and coaching hundreds of people, I'm going to share with you what actually works. If you were trying to get your dream physique, then you would train in a systematic way, make sure you track what you eat, track your workouts, get enough rest, and do everything you need to do in a systematic and methodical way. The truth is, working on your social skills and becoming more charismatic is not different to any other goal that you set yourself. You need a systematic, methodical approach. You cannot expect a sudden transformation overnight. In social skills training, every interaction you have, every conversation is like a rep you do in the gym. And what you need to do is make sure you're tracking your reps, make sure you're tracking your progress. You can't just go out there without any kind of a strategy and expect to improve. And just like working out in the gym, you wouldn't walk in there as a first timer and expect to pick up 150 kgs, start pressing it above your head. It's exactly the same with social skills training. You want to start off small and gradually increase the amount of work that you're doing so that you can build up in a comfortable and gradual way. In the gym, this is called progressive overload, and it's exactly the same method you need to apply in your social skills training. So in reality, what this looks like is on day one, you go out of your house and you start off with some micro interactions. You say hello to somebody in the street, you give a good morning to a passerby, and you build up a number of reps. We can start off with 3 to 5 of these kind of basic interactions per day. Do that for a week and your social confidence muscle will already start to increase. On week 2, you can then start expanding on these interactions. So for example, you might go into a supermarket and start engaging with a cashier. You can ask them how their shift is going, or add a little bit of conversation to each interaction. On week 3, you may now be ready to start progressing to things like complimenting strangers. If you walk past somebody in the park and they've got a very interesting looking dog, you might comment what an interesting looking dog that is, ask them what breed it is, and this is how very interesting conversations actually spark up organically and naturally. And if you watch the most socially free and charismatic people, this is what they're doing all the time. They're not afraid to just throw conversational starters out there and the other person catches the ball and then they start having this back and forth. And if you're watching this and you think this sounds totally scary and overwhelming, I fully get it. I was housebound with my social anxiety. At 27, I even paid a psychiatrist to walk me down the street. That's how bad it had got. And now I'm coaching people day after day on huge transformations from relying on medication and alcohol, being housebound, to going out, having thriving social lives, improving at work, giving public presentations. And if this is something you want to do and make this transformation in your own life, then please, by all means, go ahead and click the link in the description. You can jump on a free one-to-one call with me. We can discuss your situation. I can tell you how I work with clients and we can see if we're a good fit to work together. And while you're doing these social exercises on a daily basis, it's very important to employ a scientific and rational mindset. When you have social anxiety and you lack social skills, it's very easy to be overtaken with emotional reasoning and let your feelings and your moods get the better of you. We want to adopt a very scientific mindset. So just like if you're working with a sports scientist or a PT in the gym, you need to track your workouts and you need to track your calories and your nutrition. That's exactly what we're going to do in this system here. I want you to track what you're doing on a daily basis. How many interactions did you have? How did they go? Were they successful? Were they not? Why do you think they were successful? Why weren't they? It could be that you had a lack of sleep, you had too much caffeine, maybe your body language wasn't very engaging or positive, maybe your vocal tonality wasn't engaging, or the other person didn't hear you because you weren't speaking up loud enough. There will always be information, data, and feedback, and I want you to absorb that and learn from that. Not to get disparaged and disheartened by what you think are failures and then just stop the training. You need to be scientific. And this is, again, a mindset which we train inside the cognitive reprogramming method, which is my coaching program. And I move clients from being emotionally driven and moved around and controlled by their anxiety and their negative thought patterns and beliefs and emotions to becoming scientific, rational, and experimental in their mindset. And it's a complete game changer. I've had clients from across the world go from self-isolating to making conversations in public spaces. One of my clients recently met his girlfriend on a train. Another client from the UK went from being terrified of even making eye contact with passers-by to sparking up funny conversations with cashiers in the supermarket and experiencing a whole new level of social freedom. So if that's what you're looking for in your life, as I said, you can go ahead and click the link below this video and we can jump on a call to discuss that. So this main point is, first of all, you need to be scientific, rational, and very systematic, track your progress, and then you're going to have data points and feedback to refer to and to learn from. The second point, which you're not going to find in any books and which is an absolute game changer, is you must master the art of relaxation. This foundation of relaxation is essential for all positive interactions to flow from. Most of the problems you experience as a social anxiety sufferer with mind blank, word salad, running out of things to say, awkward body language, this all comes from tension that is building up in the body. So if you can learn to relax yourself, that allows you to access the prefrontal cortex, which is your higher level of functioning in the brain. It allows all of those ideas that you already have to smoothly come out through your mouth, and you're not tripping yourself up with mind blank and brain fog. Relaxation is an art in itself, and it's a forgotten art among many people in the West. So what I work on with clients is building a daily relaxation practice into their routine so that at home they spend 10 minutes per day working on progressive relaxation techniques, mastering abdominal breathing, and hacking their own physiology so they're at a new level of baseline relaxation. Secondly, you need to learn how to control your anxiety in the situation and relax yourself during social interactions. This is done through mastering breath control. And another huge part of this is using your conscious mind to intervene, to break the cycle of these subconscious anxiety patterns where the body gets very tensed up. This is too much for me to go into full detail on in this video, but you can check out another video I made on this topic. And it's also something that I covered deeply in my coaching program. So if you're interested in that, click the link below the video. Thirdly, the most counterintuitive piece of advice that you're ever going to learn to overcome your social anxiety and improve your social skills is that you need to stop adding stuff and start stripping stuff away. All of these phony behaviors that you've picked up, all of these masks that you put on, and these false personalities that you think you have to present to be liked, it's complete BS. Overcoming social anxiety and being more charismatic is not about this at all. It's not about adding stuff. It's about stripping layers away. You're not trying to memorize pickup lines or learn new behaviors. The truth is, you as you are right now is enough. The things you have to say are important, are funny, are interesting. And you don't believe it at the moment, but when you make this switch, everything changes. You can say the most mundane or strange thing, but if it's coming from an authentic place where you're not trying to do anything or trying to be anyone, it just hits, it just resonates with the right people. I'll give you an example from my own life. I was recently at a networking event, and as we went around the table, people were giving their polished introductions to themselves and what they were doing. And as it came round to one woman, she just rubbed her head and she said, "Oh, I've just woken up from a nap." And the whole table of people just broke out into laughter because it was just so real. It was so unscripted. She wasn't trying to sell herself. And then after that, she apologized. I'm not really thinking that clearly, but basically this is me and this is what I do. And it was amazing. And it took all of that tension out of the atmosphere. It was like releasing the air out of the balloon. And it gave everybody else in the room the permission to be more authentic and more themselves. So you need to really grasp this concept. You're not trying to layer on behaviors. You're not even trying to do this stuff that you hear people talk about where they say like pick up new hobbies, listen to more podcasts, read books, and then you have interesting things to say. That's actually completely wrong. When I coach clients, I've had clients that are actually making themselves extremely stressed and anxious by consuming up to 2 or 3 hours of news podcasts because they feel that when they go into the office, they have to be up on current affairs so they have the right things to say. this is completely wrong. And this was actually feeding the anxiety of my clients, because if you consume a lot of news, it's very, very bad for your mental state. So please stop doing this. Please stop adding stuff and trying to be something else. You don't need that. You need the conviction and the belief in yourself that you are already enough. And you can say anything and do anything. But if it's from the heart and it's authentic, people smell that, they resonate with that, it makes them laugh, they enjoy it. And that's really where the answer lies. So implement these 3 things that I've talked about today, and you'll see your whole view of reality shift and your whole way of socializing and your interactions completely change. If it sounds like a lot for you to do on your own, then click the link in the description below and we can jump on a call and we'll discuss how I can help you go through that transformation.